Time is up. Mr. Braley, 5 minutes for the last 5 minutes.
Ms. Doan, I got the distinct impression from one of the comments that Mr. Micah addressed to you that you had an opportunity to meet with the Republican members of the committee before you testified today. Is that true?
I offered to meet with all of the members of the committee, of whether you were Democrat or Republican, before that last meeting, and none of the Democratic folks chose to take me up on the offer, apparently.
No, I'm talking about your testimony here today. Did you meet with Republican members of the committee in anticipation of your testimony here today?
Yes, I met with Congressman Davis.
Just Congressman Davis?
No, there were a few other congressmen.
I can answer that, Mr. Braley. We called her up and wanted to see her ahead of time before she came up.
I just wanted to clarify that for the record.
Absolutely. We do this routinely with witnesses, by the way.
I never got the opportunity or the invitation to meet with you before the last hearing.
I could meet with you tomorrow at any time you want, Congressman Braley. I would love to sit down with you and talk to you about what GSA is doing.
Okay, let's talk about Mr. Burton's comment when he made the remark that this hearing was very amusing to him. Do you find this hearing very amusing?
I'm sorry, did you say abusing?
Very amusing.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, this is very serious. This is my career. This is my reputation that's being impugned here. And this is people alleging that I'm maltreating employees and doing all sorts of shenanigans. This is not true. Yes, this is very serious.
It is very serious. And when Mr. Davis asked a rhetorical question, why are we here, let me answer to you why I'm here. The U.S. Office of Special Counsel is an independent federal agency appointed by President Bush to investigate alleged Hatch Act violations. And last month, the Office of Special Counsel concluded that you broke the law during this January 26th meeting at GSA headquarters that we've been talking about. And in its conclusion that was forwarded on to President Bush, this is what the Office of Special Counsel wrote. Despite engaging in the most pernicious of political activity prohibited by the Hatch Act, Administrator Doan has shown no remorse and lacks an appreciation for the seriousness of her violation.
This is an example of why it's flawed, though.
The other points that I want to ask you about is you have denied that you violated the Hatch Act during that meeting.
I've said I do not believe I violated the Hatch Act during that meeting because I cannot remember exactly what I said, but I don't believe that I violated that. I can't remember which congressman asked me.
In your counsel's letter to the Office of Special Counsel, your own attorney suggested that the real violation of the Hatch Act occurred when Scott Jennings made the PowerPoint presentation. Were you?
I am not Monday morning quarterbacking. I have
well,
told
let me read to you what he wrote to the Office of Special Counsel. If anything, it was that briefing which OSC concedes Administrator Doan had no role in preparing or arranging that may have violated the Hatch Act. However, rather than focusing on the presentation, which on its face raises Hatch Act concerns, the OSC has aimed its ire at a single comment, the phrasing of which is disputed even among those who remember it being made at all. So when you talk about this ongoing investigation for potential Hatch Act violations, do you agree that the presentation of that PowerPoint slide to your employees on federal crime was a violation of the Hatch Act, and the record should reflect the witness has been conferring with counsel and has just been handed a document?
Thank you for making that clear, Congressman. The letter from my legal counsel that accompanied was the response. I believe if you review it in its entirety, it does speak for itself. What I will also tell you is that I am not, I've said it before, I'm not a Hatch Act expert. The Office of Special Counsel has still said it has not made its determination. Congressman Braley, I don't know why you're trying to ask me to opine on this, especially given that opining has gotten me to this point here.
Let me tell you why it's important. You have repeatedly stated that certain things occur before you received Hatch Act briefings and Hatch Act trainings. But there is no dispute that between the date you took over your job and the date of these Scott Jennings briefings we've been talking about, you did receive Hatch Act training and Hatch Act briefings. Isn't that true?
I did. However, I did not know what the content of the meeting or the presentation was going to be.
When you testified just now that you didn't do anything to help your candidates, I want to go back to these slides that we talked about last time, where there were 10 targeted Democratic races, and another slide that says 2008 GOP defense, and it lists people who are Republican members of Congress who could be targeted in the 2008 election. So when you, as the head of the agency, suggest how can we help our candidates, and they've seen this slide, can you understand how reasonable people could conclude that those political appointees may be feeling pressure to do something to help these candidates.
No, I'm not engaged in partisan political activities, and I haven't directed anyone to do anything.
Gentleman's time has